And we are live from the top of the 6th floor at the CBS Interactive Building in San Francisco. It's the Byte Extra Crunchy podcast with your host, Mr. Brian Tong.
Slow down, man. Slow down. It's getting crazy up in here. Welcome, everybody. It's the Byte Extra Crunchy, episode 79. We're going strong. We're almost at 80. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm Brian Tong. Joining me in the house, the man who makes all the magic happen, Mr. Stephen Beecham.
Howdy,
Welcome to the Byte Extra Crunchy. All that munchy. It is our complimentary piece to our Byte video podcast that happens weekly, but new stories happen, new things happen, and we're able to kind of expand on what we talk about. So again, this show is all about y'all. We had a few issues with the phone call, so what I'm hoping to do is, first of all, if you want to call us next week, I think there's a lot to talk about this week. Number is 1-800-616-2638. Tell us your name, where you're from, and just get right to it. Try to keep it around a minute, and we will put your calls in because you guys and gals make this show what it is. Also, we're going to do some live Twitter answers here today. So if you can, all you got to do is just tweet me at Brian Tong, and we will answer some of your questions throughout the show.
Is this your Twitter right here? Yeah. Oh, I'm putting his Twitter on the screen.
There's 9 new notifications. Are they fake accounts? Oh, they're actual people are actually asking legitimate questions. Okay.
Ooh, someone retweeted the Periscope.
Yeah, that's also really disturbing to see my face like that. That's just wrong. So, anyways, tweet me. We've already got a few people asking some questions. Let me scroll down here. I did see one from a viewer. Where was it? I don't know. It was crazy. Oh, Shauna Mendiola. Where are you from? Where you from, baby?
Is that your
Where you from? Don't give away, Beecham. Where you from, baby? All right, so let's get to the show because people listening are like, damn, it takes so long for them to get into the show. The big story, the huge story this week is all about Apple finally opening up and talking about the Mac Pro in between product cycles. They have never done anything like this before. They invited a small group of tech journalists, obviously, I was not one of them, into a roundtable into their headquarters in Cupertino. They brought them into one of the design rooms where a lot of their CNC machines are. That's for basically building prototypes of parts for their products.
The CNC Mac Pro factory?
There you go. That's what it is. So they brought a small group of tech journalists in there, and what they wanted to talk about, what do you think about the future of the Mac Pro and why would they do this? Let's be honest. They not only have they been getting flack from fans and people like you, but from people like me. Like, I will not let them off the hook, the fact that the Mac Pro has been long overdue in over 3 years. But this is in a really unprecedented way of showing that, you know what, we kind of messed up. Like, we didn't do things right. Here's some of the quotes throughout all the different articles that were out there. Phil Schiller admitted, we're in the process of completely rethinking the Mac Pro. Craig Federighi, who was also there, right? That's Air Force One for all you Apple insiders, said, in retrospect, it didn't suit some of the people we wanted to reach, and we'd found ourselves a bit boxed in by its circular shape. Yeah, I think I think most pros that saw it right off the bat were like, how am I going to actually customize this and expand this machine? In kind of an overview of really what this captures, Phil Schiller said, we made something bold that we thought would be great for the majority of our Mac Pro users, and what we discovered was that it was great for some and not others. Enough so that we needed to take another path. One of the good things, hopefully, with Apple through the years has been a willingness to say when something isn't quite what we wanted it to be. Didn't live up to expectations, and to not be afraid to admit it and look for the next answer. And this is really a transparency that we have never seen from Apple before. And what did they really say? They told this group of reporters that there will be new Mac Pros coming, but they will be coming not this year, but in 2018.
Oh, wow. That's a ways, man.
This new design will be, they did not reveal any, obviously, images or anything to let us know what it's going to really be like. I'm assuming it's going to be some nice shiny, rounded edge box. They did describe it. It'll be an all-new modular design, right? You'll be able to customize it because the thing about pros is they use their computers different ways. They also alluded to the fact that they put a priority in other things because they also saw that a good amount of pro users we're just like, I'm just gonna go get a iMac and just max it out, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we have iMacs
That's
at our office.
That's how we roll here. Yeah.
Right? This new Mac Pro, Apple will also be doing its own Pro display specifically for it. So this will not be an LG display like Apple has right now. It will be a Pro display. Remember the old days, like Apple Cinema display? I had one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
I had the 22-inch, and then I was such a loser. I bought the 23-inch. That was a higher resolution. Back in the day, this is when it had that cool plasticky, like almost like the years 2000-y, like kind of plastic see-through look. Now they have the Thunderbolt display, but there will be an actual Pro display for this Mac. So they are really throwing it out there that we are committed to the Pros. We made mistakes, obviously, but I got to give them props. I mean, this is a transparency we have never seen from this company before. I've thrown more than enough bad apples at them because of their lack of addressing the Pro market. But look, again, this is unprecedented, and they needed to do this. Could you imagine, Beach, if Apple stayed quiet and until 2018 before they released a Mac Pro? Because typically they don't say anything in between products.
Yeah, I mean, this is surprising, and it's cool that they're actually doing this. You know, I only have seen one of these Mac Pros in the wild. I've never seen it. I still have like an old school one, you know, like the Tower. So this is awesome that they're going to update it and make it easier for people to expand it.
I think also, though, part of me is, I'm not saying is it too little too late, but part of me says, well, you have really prioritized, let's just throw it out there, grandmas, grandpas, and hipsters.
Oh, yeah.
With obviously all the resources pointed towards the iPhone, all the resources pointed towards tablets. Their vision of what a Pro machine, whether they felt they were boxed in or not, they didn't support it enough.
No.
And the Mac Pro, the actual Mac Pro, I think out of all its products, makes up only like 1 or 2. It's like a single-digit percentage of their entire product line. You can say that, oh, it's because that market is dying. Okay, fine. But you can also argue that it has such a low number because they weren't supporting it.
Yeah, they weren't.
It's always twofold. It's part of it is market dynamics, the changing consumer, and part of it is how they treat it as a company and how many improvements actually come out. Now, I found this to be kind of funny as well. They did actually slightly upgrade, I'm using air quotes, to upgrade the current cylindrical Mac Pro. If for some reason you really need one right now, even though you know that Apple blatantly said we're coming out with an all-new design that can be customizable for pros, everything that pros expect, they did update the entry-level Mac Pro. That was typically $2,999. It will now come with a 6-core Xeon processor instead of 4, and upgraded the Dual-Fire Pro video cards to the D500 GPUs.
Nice.
They also took the higher-end $3,999 model and will bring 8 cores and go from a dual D500 to dual D700 GPUs. So that is direct. Some of the admissions they talked about in their interview was the fact that they thought that dual graphics cards was the way to go for the Pro machine, and instead the market actually trended towards a single powerhouse GPU.
Oh, okay.
They also said, yeah, they missed the mark on thinking that everyone was going to use Thunderbolt for expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have one guy with I think we have 1 or 2 Mac Pros here because we bought them at the time thinking that, oh, this is Apple's new machine. But most people that bought the Mac Pro when it first came out was like, we're on Apple, we just have to buy the Mac Pro machine, until you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I know pros have racks of hard drives, but it just looks kind of silly when you have a cylinder with like 4 hard drives like all near it.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being integrated into one.
I didn't even, like, when you were talking about the article before and the size of it made it difficult for people to use. That I never really thought about that before, but yes, having it sitting on your desk looks kind of weird, and all the cables plugged into it. But I'm happy that Apple did this and that they're talking about improving it. Can they do the same thing with Final Cut, please? I mean, I love Premiere, but we all used Final Cut for a long time.
We used to use Final Cut, everyone, and then our department, at least here at CNET, all switched over to Premiere.
We all ditched it, yeah.
I don't. There's one person using Final Cut regularly. It was kind of like, his resistance, like
Yeah.
I'm using Final Cut.
He uses it well too.
Yeah.
That's Mark, right? Mark
Yes.
Hanley.
And, you know, again, I'm not against Thunderbolt as a, you know, as an IO. I'm not against that, but I am against a Pro machine. You know, the fact is that Mac Pro was really quiet, but it wasn't a Pro machine. Like
No.
you can't put audio cards in, you can't put video cards in. You know, you couldn't.
I couldn't
do
use
that.
Pro Tools with it.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
You can't use Pro Tools on the Mac Pro. What? What are you talking
You could.
about?
I would just have to buy a bunch of very expensive
That's what I'm
things to upgrade it.
Instead of slotting in the cards that
Yeah.
you had before, that would work.
Exactly.
So those were some of the challenges that obviously they had. They have finally acknowledged it. But again, this is unprecedented. We've never seen that. So I've got to give props to Apple for doing that and opening what they say, opening up the kimono. Just like that. All right. Also, some other nuggets came out of this. In addition to talking about the new Mac Pro, again, just to repeat, will be a modular model, so you'll be able to customize it depending on how you want to use it as a professional. It will also be having its own Apple-branded Pro display coming out after this year, so sometime expected in 2018. Now, another thing that was interesting thing that was revealed was they talked about the iMacs, right, and how Pro users were migrating towards iMacs. In the meeting, Craig Federighi said you can expect to see new iMacs this year with features that he said pros will be happy about. We don't know exactly if this just means it'll be a new iMac with more power, you know, upgraded ports or whatnot, but that was clearly stated in this meeting. The other thing that came out of this is they were asked directly by the media if they have plans on doing an ARM-based Mac. ARM chips, right? These are the chips that are in the iPhone, that are in the iPad. Apple said no to that, but they did say that there's a potential chance that they could use the ARM platform as a complementary processor or chip to the actual computers in the future, whether it's something like, you know, there's a T1 chip that drives that touch bar on the MacBook Pro. They said that the future of ARM chips still being used in Macs could be utilized, just not as the main primary processor. They also were asked about touchscreen iMacs, and Phil Schiller said no. In fact,
it's crazy, man.
Right, just
They're
make
crazy.
One. Just make one. All you got to do
My
is just
kids
make.
they're never going to use a Mac.
All you got to do is just make one, bro.
My children that are going to grow up and be consumers and buy computers, they're not going to use a Mac.
Yeah.
They'll use an iPad.
Look. What I found a little ironic is in the meeting when asked about the touchscreen possibilities for future Macs, Phil Schiller said that nowhere in their survey or feedback from Pro users was putting a touchscreen a top priority. Well,
are you kidding me?
I'm going to tell you, nowhere in a Pro user's experience did they ask to make a cylinder that had no expansion.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Who was asking for that?
I'm just throwing it out there. So again, they are acknowledging some of their faults. Now, in another kind of cool little nugget, Apple addressed the Mac Mini. They were asked directly, "What is the future of the Mac Mini?" They were tight-lipped about it. Phil Schiller, responding to Daring Fireball's John Gruber, said, "On that, I'll say the Mac Mini is an important product in our lineup, and we weren't bringing it up because it's more of a mix of consumer with some pro use. The Mac Mini remains a product in our lineup, but nothing more to say about that today." I think that
Mac Mini is cool, man.
I think they should have at least said you'll see a new one coming this year, just like they said about the iMacs.
Yeah, totally.
There's a lot of people out there that ask me about the Mac Mini every freaking week.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
We know not everyone has it, but when you have a product that hasn't been updated now in like over 2+ years, you're going to be asking about it.
Yeah, totally.
So that was one of the other nuggets that came out of this whole kind of keynote. So I want to know, we really would love to hear your feedback. Are you happy about how Apple addressed this whole Mac Pro issue of moving forward, the future of the Mac Pro? Are you happy? At least we don't know everything, but at least they addressed it to a certain degree. I want to know. I want to hear it from you. We have our call line, 1-800-616-2638, where you guys can leave a message. I'm also going to open up, and if you guys feel like tweeting me, because we're doing this live as well, at Brian Tong, and we'll try and kind of look at some of those later on the show. Give you a few moments to just collect your thoughts. Okay. All right. let's keep on rolling on. We did address the whole idea of, hey, new iMacs are coming this year. That is straight from the horse's mouth, aka Apple's mouth. A new blog post from the crew at Pikes Universum says that according to their sources, there will be new iMacs, and they even listed out some of the specs. Expected as part of this, Intel Xeon E3 processors. They'll have a pro-grade E3 1285 V6 processor. Intel has actually not released this particular chip just yet. It's based on the previous generations, but the processor could essentially be the E3 1280 V6 coupled together with Intel's HD graphics card. They also expect the RAM configuration to start at 16 gigs, go as high as 64 gigs.
Nice.
16 gigs ECC RAM, configurable to 16, 32, or 64. iMacs currently have 8 gigs of non-ECC RAM. So that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a lot better performing RAM for that system. So again, when Craig Federighi alluded to this will be a more pro machine, they're beefing up the iMac. Faster non-volatile memory. The rumor claims they will have a better flash storage with capacities up to 2 terabytes.
Ooh, nice.
Yes. So we'll see that.
I'm seeing 8K display.
Well, that might be.
Apple is working on an 8K display.
That's fine. I mean, everyone jumps to the conclusion like, oh, it's good for graphics.
You can't really see it. You can't, like, if you're looking at it, you can't really tell. I saw, like, there was one at CES, and it's like, okay, that looks great. But you can't really tell the difference between 4K and 8K.
Not yet.
Unless you're a cyborg or something.
Which I am. So, yeah, they're completely, with this whole Rethought Mac Pro, a rumor or rumbling from Pikes Universum says it could be an 8K external display. Also, expect an option for AMD graphics chip as well as Thunderbolt 3 ports. That would be unsurprising just because, we've seen them already in products. But those are just some of the thinkings or the rumors coming from Pikes Universum, a.k.a. their source, about what these new iMacs could possibly be. So just overall, a whole lot more power, a lot more power than the current Mac Pros, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that all rolls out. Again, do we all know by now what my favorite product is here in the show?
iPad Pro.
Thank you. Well, this is sobering, and I have been saying this, I don't know, since I got my iPad Pro. I've acknowledged it. Yes, I'm in the ecosystem. I've always said the Surface Pro is the best tablet on the market. Well, now a new JD and Power study has come to the conclusion in their 2017 U.S. tablet satisfaction study that the Surface Pro is ranked the highest in overall customer satisfaction, beating the Apple iPad, which came in at second place.
That's JD Power. That's pretty big, man.
JD Power is a very, consumer-friendly, reputable kind of type of place to lean on.
Yeah.
On these things. Again, though, I'm always of the school of thought, a product is the best for you that serves what you want to do.
Yes.
So you can have these like Consumer Report stuff. You can even have CNET reviews. You can have JD and Power's surveys. But again, don't take too much. The whole complex of I don't have as good of a phone as someone else is such crap.
Yeah, it is.
It happens all the time. And when you say something negative or you're critical about another platform, when you say anything that makes someone feel like their phone is a lesser of a phone, they get crazy.
I know, right?
Whether I'm talking about iPhones or Galaxy phones or Pixels, when I'm just observing how I use it and how I feel, people get so mad. It's like they're so insecure that their phone is linked to who they are. Get over it, bro. Get over it.
This story is kind of surprising to me because I remember the NFL had like a big problem with the Surface Pros, and they're like, we need to get rid of them. Bill Belichick is like, I want to get rid of these Surface Pros. Like, we can't use them.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm kind of surprised,
Well,
but
maybe in the football, because they're using it for like snapshots of the plays as they develop.
Yeah.
And they weren't communicating properly.
Yeah.
Like the info
and there's probably like certain, you have a certain amount of time during a timeout, and maybe they're like, oh crap, I can't load the play on the, whatever.
Or even think about stadium Wi-Fi and cell signals.
Oh, it's gotta suck.
To transfer data over that, whether you're on a private network or not, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
So you're going to run into those problems. So here's what they found. Microsoft, again, beat Apple. They beat them in areas like the size of the tablet, quality of materials used, and attractiveness of the tablet design.
Oh, okay.
Microsoft customers who are using the Surface Pro line of tablets are largely said to be early adopters. 51% are younger than the customers of its competitors. So they're basically saying that it's young people that are into the Surface Pro.
Yeah, that's
because of its versatility, right? It's really the only tablet out there, at least, that you can actually still use as a actual laptop.
Yeah, totally.
It's just because of the way they built the OS.
Yes, the OS is key.
Maybe Apple should have another roundtable talking about the iPad Pro in the near future.
It's really simple too. There's a button, tablet mode, desktop mode. It's that easy.
Again, I still love my iPad Pro. Okay, don't get all mad.
I still love my iPad too.
Don't get
my
mad.
iPad 3rd gen.
More key findings from this report says that drove kind of the selection process. A lower price and past experience are the most commonly cited reasons for tablet selection among customers.
Ooh.
Reputation is next at 19%. Nearly 1/3 of customers have a data plan with their tablet. Overall satisfaction among customers with a data plan is 863 versus 834. Now, I did forget to mention that the rating system that JD Power uses is based on a 1,000-point system. So Microsoft came in with an 855 rating. Apple came in with an 849. Samsung came in with an 847. So really, they're bunched pretty tight.
Yeah, that's pretty tight.
I'm not going to be like...
It seems like price won. Price was a big factor.
And functionality,
And
right?
functionality. Yeah.
There's no way you can tell me that there is any other tablet that is as functional as a Microsoft Surface Pro. But you do have to like Windows.
Totally. I love Windows.
There's a lot of people that love the product, but they just hate Windows. And then I'm like, Apple, are you hearing this? Like, seriously, bro, are you hearing this? Can we do something about that? So there you go. The Microsoft Surface beats the iPad in design, productivity, and accessory use, according to that JD Power study. Also today, newsflash, if you haven't checked it out already, Apple has released its social video editing app, Clips.
Yeah.
You do need to have iOS 10.3 running on your phone. It just dropped around 10 a.m. today, so if it hasn't shown in the App Store, just be patient, or if you search for it on the web, there's direct links that will lead you to the App Store. But it's really right. It takes your video clips, post them in the square mode. Some of the cool stuff that's part of it is really the ability to talk into it, and your text will show up on the screen like dictation. You can do kind of cool filters and emojis and stickers and all that stuff. So it's Apple's social media sharing app. You can do something, they said, like up to an hour of video. I was like, what the heck?
Wow,
like you can
really?
import an individual clip as long as 30 minutes.
Huh.
Dear Lord, this is a social video app. Don't put a clip up for 30 minutes. Like,
yeah, it's got to be like 30 seconds.
You need to rethink your life if that's what you're doing. So
wait. I have to rewind this because this is the thing that I hate right here. That right there. I don't like that.
You don't like You don't like editing by dragging the sides and hoping that your finger gets in the right spot. You don't like that.
No. Let's do something different, Apple.
Okay. Well, you know what, Beecham, you can complain about it all you want until you come up with a better solution. I'm listening.
No,
I
that's
like
not my job. It's their job.
I like solutions. I'm a solution-driven person. Someone's like, yeah, right. You've been complaining about the iPad all this time.
Yeah.
But no, we offer solutions too.
Yeah. I'll have to play with it, and then I'll probably have a solution after I play with it for a while. But
okay, so check out Clips, completely free. Also, the Apple Watch, according to reports, the Apple Watch Series 3 models are expected in the second half of 2017, with a September launch to be likely. That's kind of news to some people. This is just based on here's one of the indicators. We haven't seen many parts leaked about the Apple Watch Series 3. The rumbling's right. It'll have a faster processor. The form factor will pretty much stay the same. The biggest thing that we expect to see is a one version of it to support LTE connectivity, so it's just a straight-up cellular connection. I think that would be nice. But Apple Watch Series 3 really, when people ask me, should I get the Series 2 or Series 1, I always tell them, get the Series 1 unless you want to swim with it.
Totally.
Or, like, I'm just joking when I say that, but that's partially true. Really, if you care so much about tracking the GPS trail on your watch with you, then do that.
Yeah.
But you get a way better deal just getting the Apple Watch Series 1 right now. But the Series 3 possibly coming later this year around that September timeframe. And then a final report. This is from the Economic Daily News. A new report suggests because of the difficulty and the difference in the lamination process for this potential, air quotes, OLED display for the new 5.8-inch iPhone, it could delay the launch as late as October or November. Again, this is according to the reports of actually manufacturing and assembling this. We don't know if this is really true or not, but you know what? It's the Apple Byte Extra Crunchy. There's always an obligatory iPhone story that you've got to throw in there.
Oh, def.
Just
Most def.
Just cuz. So those are kind of the stories for today. Mr. Beecham, we do have one call that did get through, and then I'm going to try and take a couple tweets if I can find some while that call is going on, and then we will listen to y'all, okay?
All right, here's Mr. Call from Texas. Thank you.
Beach and Mr. Brian Tong. This is Steven out in Austin driving on the fastest road in the nation. Just wanted to call in a couple of weeks ago. You guys had asked if anybody actually liked the digital crown on their Apple Watch, and I still haven't heard anybody talk about it on voicemail. So just the lowdown. First off, digital crown makes it look like a watch. I don't really feel like it looks like one unless it has it. Fossil watches, blah, 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 they all look like that, and to me it makes it look more like a watch. Second, I use time travel like crazy, especially in the morning when I'm getting up and getting my son dressed. I know what the weather is. I can fast forward. I see my schedule. I see all kinds of stuff coming forward based on when that time is happening. And then last, I wear Bluetooth headphones. I control my music with my watch, and I like the fact that I can control the volume without having to touch my ear and find the button. So I just scroll up and down and change that volume on there. So a couple of reasons why I like the digital crown. I hope they don't get rid of it, so if I ever upgrade, I still have that function. Thank you very much. Love the show. Keep up the great work.
Cool. I love those points. I think the thing that sticks out about me is like, dude, he time travels? He actually time travels? That's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
Newsflash, that's a feature of the watch. He doesn't actually time travel. Just in case you got confused. I first got confused for a second.
No, so it sounds like he's concerned that they're going to take
the
digital crown away.
Well, because of people like me talking all that junk about it, probably. Yeah. But no, they'll keep it there. He makes a great point. Just the aesthetic of it does help to have that digital crown. Makes
it look like a watch.
And
the feel.
The whole Bluetooth headphone thing is a very valid point. I got to give him, I see why he is like, come on. I'm standing up for the digital crownies.
Yeah, we got a lot of calls actually from people saying, you can control your AirPods with your watch and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, if you can find them in stock.
Totally.
All right, just going through some of these tweets and some of your reactions to the Mac Pro. Carson Sweet says he thinks the new Mac Pro's form factor limited Apple to easily bring in new tech. He's correct, right? That cylinder form factor, you literally couldn't pop in a single card in that.
Hey, give Carly Walsh a shout out. She's from Team Livestream.
Oh, Carly, what's up?
Carly, what's
up? Team Livestream?
Yeah.
Oh, we appreciate that. Also, Raphael says 2018 is way too late for the new Mac Pro. Shaking my head. Just got the 15-inch. He's like, I'm just going to get the MacBook Pro. Also, we had a comment up here. Let me just scroll to that one before I get... Here we go. Francis Javier, can you imagine an iPad with an OLED display plus quad speakers plus Taptic engine for some gaming? They should do the iPad for consuming. You might have a point. But I think we've said this over and over, until they give us a different operating system that can do more, the iPad is going to basically be about the same. If you want more pencil functionality, you might get a few new things, but nothing just ground shaking. I'm waiting for an NDA to lift before I can start talking about something specifically about how the iPad is being used, but I can't say it yet.
Oh.
Or maybe not used by certain companies that
you got a scoop.
You would think would be using it, but they aren't. You would think.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll just sit on that.
Cool.
But anyways, I think that's going to do it for this week.
That's it.
A lot of juicy. What I like about this week is I wish Apple did this maybe a little more often. We have actual real stories directly from Apple.
Yeah,
right?
Totally, right?
It's not like Digitimes said this, the Taiwanese Economic Daily News. It was like Apple said this.
Yeah.
Can't dispute that. All right, boys and girls, call us whenever you can. Phone number is 1-8. Is it?
Here, I got it right here.
I can't remember it off the top of my head.
It's about to pop up.
Call us at 1-800-616-2638. Your name, where you're from, your comments. Love to hear what you guys think about everything we talked about the show. That's going to do it for this week. Be safe. Stephen Beecham, say goodbye to everybody.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace out. Call us. Leave a message.